Wicked here, and welcome to the top 10 list for the best cards in Clash Royale. It's been a month since my last list and a few things have changed with introductions of new cards and balance changes that in turn has changed the current meta, and some cards have rose to the top and some have fallen in a few places or fallen off the list entirely. If you want to check, with that being said, let's get started. Number 10 is one of the newest release cards, and that is the Bats. I know a few players will be wondering why this card is in the top 10, as the bats on their own cannot, let alone get to the towers and do damage. Its main functionality is the cheap elixir cost of 2 elixir and great on defense and counter pushes. Their aim is to wear down enemies before they get to the towers, force enemy players to use elixirs to take them down for a positive elixir trade, and if timed right behind a tank, towers can go down extremely quickly. Plus the recent buff of 5 bats instead of 4 let it creep into the top 10 for this month. Number 9 is the Bandit. I have been super impressed with this legendary card lately that it also crept into the top 10 from last month. I think the recent buffs to its HP did help, and a faster dashing time to make it one of the deadliest cards in the game. Its dashing effect and first impact damage is so valuable that it is often featured in the best tournament decks. Plus it is only 3 elixir, great value. Number 8 is the Executioner, a little bit costly at 5 elixir, but apart from its creepy face, the Executioner is the killer of low HP troops like the skeletons, goblins, minions, fire or ice spirits, and not only that, it can target both air or ground. Behind a tank it is deadly and is quite a beefy character to take down. Also handy to have when you have enemy cards behind tanks. Number 7 is the Fireball, one of the spells that is an all-rounder to have in your battle deck. Primary uses are to AoE damage a clump of troops coming your way, wearing down elixir pumps, shutting down 3 musketeers, and finishing off towers in the last few seconds. Skillful players can even predict enemy defense and fireball them before the enemy player realizes their mistake. Great spell and also a classic. Number 6 is a Zap. Even though it was nerfed a few times, Zap still gives good value in a battle deck for its multi-functionality. Zapping low HP troops, resetting Inferno Dragons, towers, and Sparky, retargeting, and can even finish a tower if extremely low health. Zap is good to have against current bait decks, and you can level it enough to one-shot Goblin Barrels on ladder. Another original card that still remains useful. Sharing number 5 is the Hog Rider! Still one of the best win condition cards in the game, with a 4 elixir cost, is a great damage dealing card for enemy towers. Often decks are built around it, cycling around fast so it can keep rushing at the towers. I do have a love-hate relationship with this card. I like it in my battle deck, but I don't like versing it, especially in fast cycle decks. And as mentioned, number 5 is a tie, and that is with the Knight. I would rate it as the best common card. It's 3 elixir, but for a small tank, it is extremely good value. Can't be fireballed or even rocketed, and can distract incoming enemies or kite them away. It works well in fast cycle decks and great distraction against giant skeletons or other melee troops. Number 4 is a Log. Love it or hate it, it almost nearly comes off being a positive elixir trade. Great against low HP troops, pushing back, which in turns can retarget enemies, and a hard counter to the Goblin Barrel and Princess. I call it the Princess Killer, but also nothing is more satisfying finishing low health point towers with the Log. Log bro! Number 3 is the Night Witch. Dropped down a few places from recent nerfs which were melee range reduction and losing an extra bat upon death. Still a deadly legendary behind tanks, especially golems, and a great defensive card, and often can get a good elixir trade in defense because the bats finish off enemies. I do have a feeling this card may drop down future lists as it was overused when it first came out. Do you think she's balanced now and still feel like a legendary card? Let me know in the comments below. Number 2 is the Electro Wizard, with its multifunctional abilities, zapping upon impact, targeting 2 enemies at a time, stunning, resetting and retargeting, and it is a complete hard counter for Inferno Dragons, Inferno Towers, and Sparky. I personally think this card is extremely handy even with its recent health nerf. It has a high win rate stat of 56.1% from Clash Royale, and its usage rate has been on the rise recently. Number 1 is the Mega Knight. I will have some Mega Knight gameplay soon for you guys. I've had the chance to test it out and it is awesome. This card is simply amazing. It is like an Electro Wizard, Dark Knight, Giant and Bandit rolled into one. It is classed as a high damage dealing tank and will be such a strong card to take down. It has a skipping jump ability which also gives the same amount of damage when you deploy it. Watch out for this card. Luckily enough, its weakness will be air units and it is a little bit expensive. Who is excited for this card? Honorable mentions are the Elixir Pump, Bowler, Ice Spirit and Valkyrie. Maybe next time, guys. What would be your top 10 list? Let me know in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to enter